Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I am passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you were meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. And I am joined today in person live at Pearl Street Studio in beautiful downtown Burlington, Ontario, with a very special friend, a very special new friend. And in a way, you could also say kind of like a work colleague based off of our work together. But I am so excited to welcome the one and only, the beautiful Jamie Cullen, who is the CEO of both Dermetics and D2, which we are going to dive into and chat all about this magic, this leadership, the branding. But Jamie, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. First of all, you look beautiful and very on brand as well. I appreciate that.
I was trying to just be very demure. Just being very mindful of being very demure and really just knowing my audience that you and I were going to be spending this time together today.
I love it. I love it. You look
and
great.
I thought I had to be on brand.
You love it. You look great.
So we have a lot to dive into in our conversation today, but I want to first chat about your journey. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about, sort of life before Dermetics and D2 and up until when we get to Dermetics and D2, and then we have so much good stuff to dive into.
Yeah, well, I don't want to take like 2 hours talking about my history, but, for me, I only became an entrepreneur at the age of 40. I'm 42 now. So 2 years ago, I stepped out of the corporate world, but I spent 20 years working my way up the corporate ladder, working in different global organizations. I started my career at L'Oreal, so global beauty leader. And then I worked in medical devices for about 10 years in different roles, finance. My background is actually in business, but I majored in accounting and finance. So I'm like a numbers girl, working in finance. And then I went into sales and marketing. And then I found myself kind of merging together the beauty and medical industries in the medical aesthetics industry. And that's when I really, for the first time in my life, found a passion for what I was doing. I was working for Allergan Aesthetics, and they hired me in a business consulting role. So my job was basically to go into some of the biggest plastic surgery clinics, dermatology clinics, nurse injector practices, and really help their top clients. Allergan Aesthetics is the manufacturer of Botox and Juvederm, by the way. Oof. So just stepping
there's a brand that girls want to know.
Yeah. So they're the global leader in medical aesthetics. They manufacture Botox, they manufacture Juvederm, Cool Sculpting, Latisse, all these top brands. And so my job was to work with their top clients and help them from a business perspective. So a lot of their clients are doctors, nurses. They don't have backgrounds in business. They're not owned by corporations. So it was really a dream job for me. Like, I fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with what was possible specifically for women, and feeling confident and empowered in their beauty. And then from there, I continued to grow within that organization over a number of years. And eventually, in my last role, I was heading up the marketing team for Canada. So I had kind of this team of marketers, and it was really interesting because I had access to a lot of data on the Canadian market, what was happening in the market, and then at that point, I felt like, wow, there's really something different that I feel like I could actually contribute as an entrepreneur to this industry. And so that's kind of where the idea of what today is D2 Med Spa started. And I was probably about 39 years old at the time. And so I was not born to be an entrepreneur. I think there's a lot of people that are just, they have it in their blood. They've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. They've always wanted to own their business. For me, I wanted to kind of grow within the corporate world, potentially be like a GM of Canada or like a vice president. But it was really just when I found kind of my passion for this industry that I was like, you know what, like I I can run my own business, and I think I can really bring value to patients as well as elevate the industry as a whole.
Well, I feel like on the other side of the chair here and the other side of the mic, I can confidently say that you have and you are doing that just from the experience that I have had being in both Dermetics and D2 Med Spa, and kind of wanting to share our story and how we met. That I got this amazing surprise email in my inbox one day from Jamie Cullen inviting me to D2 Med Spa, which was a new arrival, to come in, no strings attached, come in for a facial. And this was a couple months ago, and I thought, wow, how special. Also, the timing was amazing because I feel like I hadn't had a facial in like 9 years. And so I was so excited about this email and to come in, and I was wowed instantly. Just even pulling into the parking lot and seeing the signage, but then going into D2 and experiencing the D2 experience and the facial experience that you treated me to. And here we are now in this big, beautiful relationship working together, which we can certainly dive into. But I want to chat more about, your vision for D2. Also knowing that Dermetics has just celebrated 20 years, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
And hearing feedback about Dermetics in the community, whether it's people, at our gym, Benchmark Fitness, or in downtown Burlington, raving about their experience at Dermetics and the doctors. But also what you've created with D2 Med Spa. Talk to me about your vision.
Yeah, so the vision came from, again, market data that we had that, consumers were looking for, not just in this industry, but everything that consumers are doing today. They're looking for it to be an experience. Whether you're going to the hair salon or you're going to get your nails done, you want to be able to like throw it on your Instagram. You want it to be in a beautiful space. You want to get the most value for your dollar spent. And traditionally, these treatments were done in, dermatologist offices that are more medical, or a plastic surgeon's office, or even a general practitioner's office, where it had a real like medical feel. And really the heart of D2 Med Spa is that it lives at the intersection of science and emotion. So the science piece is really my two business partners, Dr. Moon and Dr. Rosen, who are top cosmetic dermatologists in Canada. They're global thought leaders. They do a lot of research on a lot of injectable products before they even come to market. They're renowned in this industry for their amazing outcomes as well as their ability to teach. So that's where kind of the science piece comes from. The emotion piece comes from me, and it comes from understanding that specifically women want that experience when they're coming in for these treatments. They want an elevated experience, and they want to also know that they're getting the best treatments with the best outcomes, backed by kind of the best physicians. So that was kind of the brand. The brand started with that idea. And I was lucky enough that, Chani and Nathan, when I brought this to them, they were fully on board. Like there was no hesitation. They were just fully on board and ready to take on this new venture with me. They've been practicing for 20 years. They've built up their incredible practice, which, I work with them today in that practice as well. But that's been like a 20-year growth of them together as partners. And this is something different. It's a totally different business. It has a different brand, different look and feel, but still at the heart of it is their expertise and their oversight of everything that we do.
The experience that you have when you walk into D2 Med Spa is very elevated. Before you even get to your treatment, to your service, have there been moments in your professional journey, for all the travel maybe you did when you were working in corporate, that inspired different elements of D2 Med Spa?
I think for me, it's been more in my personal journey, like traveling to different places personally and feeling like you go to a beautiful spa and feeling like, why can't that be weaved into a medical aesthetics appointment? I think what I noticed throughout my travels was that that was actually like a gap in the industry, that there were all these incredible injectors, but that the experience was more medical feeling. And even if they tried to make it more elevated, it just wasn't able to reach that kind of five-star, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton experience. So when we were building the D2 Med Spa brand, like really attention to every detail was paramount. Like we really mapped out what the patient, which we call our guest, what our guest journey is going to look like from the moment they either call us, they send us an email, what's our tone going to be like? When they walk into our space, what's the smell? What do they see? What's the music? What does it sound like? Just for it to be a fully immersive experience. So, you know, that they can count on not only exceptional care and outcomes, but that it can also be a place where they look forward to going and spending time. Like I have to say, for me, I love where I go get my nails done. It's like my little sanctuary. Shout out to Yellow Door Studio
We love
in
Yellow Door
Oakville.
Studio.
But it's really my little sanctuary. Like I love going there. I feel like, again, the smell, the way that everything is put together, it's just like the experience as a whole. And so for our clinic, I really wanted to think about all of those details. And it was a 2-year long process, like building the brand. Was not just like, okay, here's the name of the clinic and we're opening up and the doctors are going to be our medical directors and we're going to be navy blue and gold. Like it was a 2-year long journey of building the brand that just opened kind of 6 months ago now.
It is amazing. And I mean, I think my obsession with the D2 brand is like, it's quite intense. I love it a lot.
I love it.
I want to know more about the creation process. Like, how did you get to navy blue and gold? I mean, I couldn't imagine it any other colors and tones and feel, but what was sort of like step one for you when creating the brand and like the textures and the colors?
Yeah, so I think the brand is really me. So like I knew in my heart how to describe what it was going to be like, but I obviously worked with amazing partners. I have an agency that I've been working with since day one, and we went through kind of multiple like in terms of the brand aesthetic, for example, multiple colors and even the name, like the name D2 Med Spa. I actually got a lot of pushback from our agency. They didn't like that name because they said it sounded like D2, like the Mighty Ducks. I don't know if that's aging me. But so we went through like different names. And at the end of the day, I was like, no, it's really D2. It's like Dermetics. It's like a second iteration of Dermetics. It's the next phase. It's a second location. I want it to be short. So like same goes for the colors. We went through like different colors, but when we came on the navy blue and gold, for me, that was it. I was like, this is it. This is what it is. Like it's classy, it's timeless, it's regal. It instills trust. It's polished, it's professional. It was just like, I knew that that's what it was. And it's funny because my partner Channy, he was like, I don't know if I like the navy blue and gold. And I was like, too bad. This is what it is.
Sorry, Channy, it's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
It's navy blue.
He likes
and
it
gold.
today. He likes it today. But I knew when I saw it that was our palette.
And we have to talk about this because it's one of the things that I'm like also so fascinated and love about you is how you are so on brand as a personal brand. And I feel like you and I've had like shorter conversations about personal branding. And we're in a beautiful studio that the photographer that owns this is amazing with personal branding.
Yes, she is.
But how you are so aligned, so effortlessly aligned with your brand. Was that something that you have always practiced, or is that more of a new journey as part of being an entrepreneur?
I think it's something I've always practiced. I mean, when I was with Allergan, I would try and be on brand as well. Like I wanted to represent the brands that I was working for, the brands that I was representing. I think this is another level. I think D2 Med Spa is Jamie Cullen.
Yeah.
Like it really is, it's me. Like so it's not difficult because it's part of who I am. So it's not something that's difficult, and it's something that kind of like just goes with my aesthetic. So when you walk into our clinic, it really, a lot of like my closest friends will be like, oh my God, it just feels like you. Like this is so Jamie. So it's not difficult for me. And for me, like I love the navy blue. I think it's classy. So it's not hard to represent the brand, but I think it's important to do it. Like I'm sure you do the same for Benchmark, right? Like there's a certain aesthetic to Benchmark, and it's fun and it's friendly and it's outgoing. And I feel like when I see you, like that's what you typically portray in kind of your attire and your way of being. So it's not necessarily that I'm trying to dress or be the brand, but I just feel like more I am the brand.
You totally are, and I mean, navy is also an amazing color on you, so it's
On you
absolutely
too.
Well, I am absolutely welcoming more navy into my life for 2025. That is
Totally, it
that is
suits
a
you.
new thing.
It suits you.
But I really love, and I feel like I personally am even leaning more into the power of a personal brand as a supporting role to the star player of Benchmark Fitness, D2 Med Spa, Dermetics. Like that is our business. That is what we work to build and create, and obviously it's a revenue generating machine.
Yeah.
But being the polished personal brand that supports that, I think is such an area of opportunity when it comes to entrepreneurship and business and success and opportunities that you naturally call in.
It's interesting. For me, it's something that I'm not as comfortable with. Chani and Nathan, they go across kind of Canada, across the world. They're up on stage. They like to talk. They like to teach. For me, I'm more, I would say I'm more introverted. I like being in the background. I like being strategy, making the plans. I'm not as comfortable, or I don't seek out kind of being in front of the cameras or at the forefront. We were talking about this kind of not too long ago, and for me, I do want to represent the brand, but I also feel like it's super important that the brand stands on its own without me. For me, I'm kind of the leader behind it, but I want to make sure that that if I'm not here, the brand is able to continue on, and that like my staff are able to, my team, they're able to represent the brand, and that it can stand on its own.
I completely respect that and agree with that. And I know, yeah, you and I've had some great conversations offline about that. And I think that's a great even takeaway in this conversation, people listening to this when they are building a business, building a brand, and not being so glued to it that you go on vacation for 3 weeks and something crumbles.
Totally, yeah.
And I don't want to skirt over this because I think it's something that I admire about you, that you lead a pretty substantial team, but especially between 2 locations as CEO. Talk to me about your role as a leader and what inspires you to show up and be the best version of you as a leader for the team that you lead.
Well, I've been incredibly lucky to have, again, worked for some large organizations and to have had colleagues as well as leaders, or been in leadership roles within these large organizations where I've had awesome leaders. I've had others that have maybe not been as awesome, but I've learned lessons from all of them of, how I want to show up every day. For me, in terms of leadership, the number one thing is always culture. Our culture as a team, and any one of my teammates at Dermetics, at D2, they'll all say that Jamie prioritizes culture above anything else. So, the way that everybody shows up when they're in the clinic, the way that we get along with each other, the way that we respect each other, the positive energy, because I feel like if we don't have a positive, strong organizational culture, then we can't accomplish anything, and that our patients are going to feel it when they walk into the clinic. And I feel like it is one thing that I hear a lot from our patients at Dermetics and D2, that they love our team. They just love our team, and they feel like, oh, you guys are having such a good time. Like, you all look very happy. And to me, that's such a compliment, because it's really my number one priority. And then I guess the second thing in terms of leadership is I know where my strengths are, as well as I'm very humble and honest about the areas that are not my strengths. And when I'm hiring people or expanding our team, I really prioritize hiring people that have strengths in areas that I don't. So I feel like I love hiring people who are the opposite of me. Like again, I'm more introverted, I'm very analytical, so I need people who have kind of like the extroverted energy. I need people who are like very social. But it's about hiring people that have strengths where I might not have them, so I can focus on the things that I know that I'm really good at, and that they can step in areas where I need them to step in, and I can give them trust to do that.
I think that's such a hiring hack that some people maybe overlook, where no, you want to, hire up. You want to
Yeah.
hire people that either do something better than you or they do something that you don't do as well.
Totally.
We can't be good at everything. And I think
We
finding
don't have time to do it. Like I don't have
No.
time, and we need to be efficient. Like again, as an entrepreneur, as you know, like I'm doing everything. Like right now at this point, I do the finances, I'm doing marketing, I'm doing HR, like everything. Like I'm cleaning. Like
Yep.
there's nothing that we don't do. And so to have a team that you can trust, that's able to step up, and obviously there's training involved and setting expectations, but there's no better feeling than when like your team members do things that truly reflect what you would have done, and that they understand the vision as well. And I'm so fortunate to have not just me, the doctors and I are fortunate to have the most incredible team, and we're really grateful for that.
I think it's such a win in a business when you almost build leaders within your organization also.
I love it. Yeah.
And we're in a season of that right now, and it's really cool to see. Matt and I talk about that a lot at home, and we do well, as you know, our Power Nine. We talk about our gratitudes and excited
Yeah.
fors and what we're manifesting. And we express a lot of gratitude for having a great team. And we have the biggest team that we've ever had, which, I mean, we were a total of 6 people, so 4 plus Matt and I. And it is different. And even finding navigating how we manage our team and what my strengths are and what Matt's strengths are. We work together as husband and wife. And I know that's something that we can, relate on, being in business with your partner, but also recognizing what each other is good at and strong at, and how we can then pour into the team so that they can grow and develop in the best way possible.
And that's something that we really prioritize as well, developing from within. We have people at Dermetics who started off answering phones and then became assists to the doctors and now have become medical estheticians. And that is just, it's incredible to us to be able to elevate people to their highest potential. And I think that that can only be done, again, when you go back to having a positive culture where, you're able to grow people, mentor them, and when you see something in them that they might not see in themselves.
Absolutely. Do you have something that is like your number one in terms of creating culture, or like, a top 3, top 5 priorities of what you do to really prioritize that positive culture?
I don't know. I think for me, I lead with love, but I'm also I'm very demanding. I have high expectations.
Same.
But I also I truly, genuinely care about every one of our team members, and the doctors do as well. We prioritize the little things like knowing their birthdays and like understanding kind of a little bit about their personal lives. Prioritizing team workouts or team events and spending time together. And all of our team members are like that with each other, and it's really fun to watch how much they care about each other. But again, I'm very tough on them in the sense that like I have high expectations. I'm very nice and loving, but I demand a lot, and it's not just for the business, but it's for them because I know that they're capable of doing that. So I think it's a balance between challenge and support always, and for me it's always like that delicate balance between supporting them but also challenging them enough to let them grow and evolve. And I think that when people are proud of the work that they're doing, that also reinforces a strong culture because they're happy to come to work. They're proud of what they're doing. They're proud of the results that we're getting. which makes our customers happy, and it just keeps feeding
This positive cycle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 30 seconds and shared this on social media, send it to a friend, or leave a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I am so grateful to have you part of mine.